lineman Joe Thomas, talking about the defensive players that really stood out to him during the preseason.
Yeah, Carson Schwesinger. I mean, he was the guy that
dude.
in the second round, when the Browns drafted him, everybody internally was very excited because he is exactly the type of linebacker that Jim Schwartz wants. He can rush the passer. He can run sideline to sideline because he's got that speed, so he can, make tackles in the outside zone. He can kind of shore up the edges in the run game. He's physical enough in pass coverage against tight ends to be able to match up with those guys and create a little bit of a problem on the inside. And he's super smart. Like, he's been able to wear the green dot and control the defense. So I think he's been really as advertised, maybe even a little bit better. And with the injuries to JOK and the retirement of Jordan Hicks, like, the linebacker situation was a little bit dire if Carson Schwesinger didn't show that ability right away from day one to be able to come in and be that starter right off the bat and play great football. And the other guy I'll say, who I didn't even know who he was because he was an undrafted guy, is Adin Huntington, who's playing absolutely lights out. I mean, on the broadcast, I didn't want to disrespect Aaron Donald for being like, oh, he's the next Aaron Donald, because he's not. However, he reminds me in a whisper of Aaron Donald.
And Scott, especially Schwesinger, and as well as Graham and anybody that's playing defensive tackle, they're going to get a test because stopping the run against the Bengals with Chase Brown is going to be hugely important.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. And you can't devote that many people to it because you got to pay a lot of attention to whoever's going out in pass routes. They always go through, or they traditionally have gone three wide nearly every snap, if not every snap. So you got to devote a bunch of resources to doing that. So, yeah, you need your front four and your two linebackers shutting down the run. And I tell you what, Schwesinger impressed me so much. I did not like that draft pick. I would not have taken a linebacker that high. Even when I found out JOK was going to be out all season, I still would not have taken a linebacker that high. But if Schwesinger turns out to the player, and I know he hasn't played one game yet, but the guy the Browns believe he can be, the signal caller, the guy in the middle, playmaker. I mean, everybody talks about all the plays he's making in practice. And we saw it during camp, and then, we're not out there all the time now. And Glenn Cook and Stefanski said he made another one the other day. If he becomes a playmaker in the middle of that defense, then, I'll probably be wrong about taking him at 33.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. I kind of was like linebacker. But to your point, if you get a guy that can make plays in the middle of that defense, that sets that lineup to just, now they can really go and try to create chaos in the backfield.
Yeah, and we saw some of it with JOK. He had a huge impact, especially in 2023, and then even at the start of last year, I thought he was playing great. And I'm not saying they're the same player. Schwesinger's bigger, I think he's more physical, but there's some similar qualities between those two guys. And I think the Browns could envision that when they took Schwesinger.